Today on the Philly Talk podcast, we got so much to talk about, but I do got a couple bones to pick with Jonathan Gannon. We'll get to a Jordan Davis stat that's going to blow your mind, but we got to get to this before the intro. Derek Barnett, breaking news, has suffered a season-ending torn ACL, which is a blow to the Eagles' D-line no matter how you cut it. We're going to talk about what we need to do for our pass rush, Jonathan Gannon, and we'll still talk about what Nick Sirianni said, especially about the coaches.
This is Philly Talk with Philly Mike. Talking sixes in the bird gang, that's I like. Competition, we ain't scared, yeah, that's what we like. Win or lose, you know we showing up and we gon' fight. You see we strive for the sky every day that go by. And every single week we screaming fly, Eagles fly. This is Philly Talk with Philly Mike, yeah. This is Philly Talk with Philly Mike, yeah.
What is going on, everybody? I go by Philly Mike, and this is the Philly Talk podcast, and today we got to get into a lot of things, but Eagle Nation, don't let me down. Y'all been killing it, whether it's live videos or recorded. Y'all been killing the like. It's free, and I appreciate it. Subscribe and ding the bell as well. And listen, we got out of last night's game with a W. That's what matters at the end. It was ugly, but ultimately that is what matters, and I think what Jason Kelce and Nick Sirianni said was perfect. Let's play this clip real quick before we get into everything else. And I think hard conversations have to happen.
Hey, what's great, and Kelce just said this to me, is like, we got a lot to clean up, but we still won. That's huge. But we got to all look at ourselves in the mirror and be hard on ourselves tomorrow. There's going to be hard conversations tomorrow. It's going to start with the coaches, right? The hard conversation is going to, I promise you guys, we'll have hard conversations. We'll get this shit fixed, and then we're going to keep rolling.
We'll get this bleep fixed, and we'll keep rolling. And the hard conversations got to start with coaching, preferably Jonathan Gannon. Now, I'm not going to say he was the same old Gannon. There was definitely things that transpired at the end of the game, fourth quarter, allowing them to go 14 unanswered. That looked similar, but he did throw more blitzes. He played a little bit more man. I still got to see some different wrinkles, and we'll talk about that. And the Jordan Davis thing is criminal. But real quick, shout out to S. Bradley for quote tweeting this. He said, bounce back, gonna be crazy. I got your back, gang. That's just one teammate supporting another teammate. And Derek Barnett's situation is weird because he might not be an Eagle next year. So he played one game, and it's a season-ending injury. We'll see where everything goes with all that. Now, this is the stat that blew my mind. Jonathan Gannon with Jordan Davis. So Shane said the Eagles allowed 2.9 yards per carry when Jordan Davis was on the field. They allowed a whopping 10 yards per carry when he was off the field. I love Hargrave and Fletch did get a sack. Cool. But them two, as a D-tackle tandem, when they were in, we were getting gashed via the run. Now, the linebackers were responsible. Sometimes a cornerback or two had a shot at Swift and or Jamal Williams, and he whiffed. There were some tackling issues, whether it was Hargrave, whether it was Fletch, whether it was Bradbury. Slay missed one. C.J. Gardner-Johnson. That's effort. Jonathan Gannon cannot control that. He also can't control Slay getting beat when he's man-to-man, hip-to-hip. It happens. But there's things that Jonathan Gannon should have corrected on the fly, and when the players don't give effort, it's definitely the players, but the coaches can't allow that to be a problem. Now, this is why I'm talking about Jordan Davis, because look at the snap count for the defensive line real quick. 49 snaps for Josh Sweat, 47 snaps for Hassan Reddick, 39 for Fletch, 38 for Hargrave, 33 for Milton Williams. Your third-round pick, D-tackle, is getting more minutes than your first-round pick, the guy you moved up for. I understand he's new. C.J. Gardner-Johnson played. He's been here 10 days. So again, 33 for Milton Williams, and this is where it gets crazy too. 29 for Marlon T. This is a 6th or 5th round pick out of USC who barely made the team, has 29 snaps. Now, Brandon Graham, cool. You're going to work Brandon Graham back slowly. I ain't mad at it. Well, now Derek Barnett's out. We might need more for Sweat and Barnett. And Teron Jackson's probably going to get called up. But 29 snaps and 33 snaps for Milton Williams and Marlon T cannot be over Jordan Davis. Williams, maybe. I like him. I really do. But Jordan Davis got 22 snaps. So in the 22 times he was out there, I don't know how many times they ran it. They could have only ran it 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. I don't know. But 2.9 yards a carry is what we need from our defensive line. Stop the run, especially when you know that's what they're going to do. I don't know if Jonathan Gannon just decided not to play him because he favors the old heads or he's scared or whatever it was. Now, there is a scenario where Jordan Davis is just not able to play more than 22 snaps at this time. If that's the case, then I'm upset with Jordan Davis. You got to get in shape, bro. This is the NFL. You're not just going to be used situational. We need you to be the guy. Not exactly this year, but if Fletch and Hargrave continue to get dominated, then you're going to have to step up sooner rather than later, and it's going to take Jonathan Gannon making it happen. Make it happen. So then 22 snaps, like I said, for Jordan Davis, 12 snaps for Derek Barnett, so it's not a crazy amount of snaps we got to, well, who knows how many snaps he would have got if he stayed healthy. And then 8 snaps for Patrick Johnson. But I just thought that was crazy to see that 2.9 to 10 is just wild. And the Eagles had run problems early last year under Jonathan Gannon and then fixed it up. He's too worried about the deep ball, but being hit with the run game is demoralizing. And for a team that is not in great condition, you know what's harder and more tiring to stop when you can't stop it? Is the run. It beats us up, and it looked like that in the fourth quarter. Then we started playing prevent, this, that, and the third. Look, I think the whole defensive side was a lot of different things. Gannon was a problem at times, but the effort and the conditioning was definitely a problem. We got to clean that up. Minnesota is 1-0, and they got some dogs over there in Jefferson and Cook. I will say this, though. The early line is Eagles favored by 3. We'll talk about that later in the week. Now, to look at this game in its totality, you know, some good stuff still transpired, right? The Eagles took their foot off the gas pedal and still had 455 total yards of offense. You can't discredit 31 points scored by the offense. You can't discredit a 38-point overall, and 455 yards is a nice chunk of yards. A nice chunk of yards. Jalen Hurts got to keep his eyes down the field when scrambling. However, the way the Lions blitzed, I don't know if we win without Jalen Hurts' mobility. You need that. And look what Brendan said right here. My thing with Jalen Hurts is he's going to run from somewhat clean pockets, or he's going to run before passing sometimes. That's never going to change because he does it at an elite rate. There's only one person that can rival him for scrambling or running out as a quarterback, and that is Lamar Jackson. But I think it's starting to get closer to being eeny, meeny, miny, mo. That's just my thought. With that being said, it's not like he ran the ball 16 or 17 times. But people have it in their head on Twitter that this man ran out of a pocket, whether it was the right decision or the wrong decision, 17 times or 16 times. That's not true. There was 8 runs that were designed quarterback runs. And he got 28 yards on them. And then the 8 scrambles for a 64 was that him picking to run instead of staying in the pocket or throw on a run. And again, the way the Lions blitzed him, I think most of them runs were justified for sure. 8 runs. Maybe 3 were clean pocket runs. The other 5 were you have to go right now. And so if he's running out of a clean pocket 3 times, that's less than last year. The 17 piece looks big because 8 of them were designed runs via the coaching staff. Now, there's one more thing I want to talk about before we get into some other things. I want to talk about the wide receivers as well. But Nick Sirianni, in his press conference today, talked about a lot of things. But this one, he stayed a long time on this. They asked about Devontae Smith not being involved. He did get targeted 4 times. One was a drop. One was a catch that got called back by a holding call by Mailata. And the other 2 were just, it is what it is. It is what it is. Now, A.J. Brown, shout out to him, broke the Eagles' wide receiver debut record, 10 catches, $155, targeted 13 times. Here's the difference. A.J. was targeted 13. Devontae was only targeted 4. You got to get Devontae the ball. As the coaching staff, forget Jalen Hurts. As the coaching staff, when they're on the sideline and the defense is out there, you got to rally these guys and say, look, we're going to run a couple sets. Maybe it's a little stupid slant. Maybe it's a screen. Get the ball in his hand and get him feeling some type of way. Simple. But this is what Nick Sirianni pretty much said. Nick Sirianni said, we got to get the ball to Devontae Smith, and we will get the ball to Devontae Smith. And I'm going to see flip-flop games. Ooh, look at Jalen Hurts to A.J. Brown. Look at Jalen Hurts to Devontae Smith. But there's got to be games where it's kind of double-sided, meaning both of them are eating. Goddard will be involved too, and so will the run game. Shout out to Miles Sanders for 96 tough yards. 13 carries, 96 yards. That's once again 5+ yards a carry. Big time 4th and 1 run. I called it. Young Miles. I'm not saying he's going to get a contract, but shout out to him. The offense did everything we could ask for. Offensive line is getting a bad rap. I think for the protection that Nick Sirianni and the coaching staff called, the offensive line held up pretty good. They were sending 6 and 7 guys. Do the math. 5 guys versus 7 guys. 7 should win. And the little bit of time that the offensive line was able to hold the blitz, Hurts was able to get out the pocket. Yes, he had to run sometimes, but that's not the offensive line getting beat. That is Nick Sirianni needing to leave a running back in the chip like Leonard Fournette did to good old Micah Parsons. Bang, bang, boom, boom. It's another thing when you leave a tight end to stay in there. You called up Noah T, who dropped the critical first down. You called him up for his blocking abilities, not his dropping third down, first down abilities. Get him off the squad. I'm just kidding. But this game was sloppy. Penalties on the offense was sloppy, and that's why I like what the coaches said. Again, you won a game that you almost gave away. Clean it up. Listen to what Nick Sirianni said one more time, and especially about being hard on the coaches. Maybe a little offensively, because the first series was kind of bogus, but you got to correct the defensive schematics.
Hey, what's great, and Kelsey just said this to me, is like, we got a lot to clean up, but we still won. That's huge. But we got to all look at ourselves in the mirror and be hard on ourselves tomorrow. There's going to be hard conversations tomorrow. It's going to start with the coaches, right? The hard conversation is going to, I promise you guys, we'll have hard conversations. We'll get this shit fixed, and then we're going to keep rolling.
Got to get it fixed. Now, I want to show you this wide receiver snap count real quick before we get out of here, because the crazy thing is, Devontae Smith, who only got 4 targets and 0 catches, was on the field the most when it comes to the wide receivers. 74 snaps for Devontae Smith, 67 for A.J. Brown, 41 for Quez Watkins, and 17 snaps for Zach Pascal, who he did get a catch. So you're talking about Quez Watkins and Devontae with no catches. Maybe Quez got a catch, I'm not sure. But Devontae played the most snaps and only had 4 targets. There got to be something there. Nick Sirianni got to go out his way and draw up a play for him, because I do think he'll get open. Now, the All-22 comes out tomorrow. I'm not going to break down film on the highlight reels. You can't see what you need to see. On the regular thing is, it shows you where the ball is. It doesn't show what this offensive line is doing, this wide receiver is doing, that DB, this quarterback. You got to see the All-22 to really criticize or critique anything. But Jalen Hurts got the ball out quickly, especially to A.J. Brown. Timely passes, and there was 2 or 3 passes that I was like, wow, the tight window, and they all really came to A.J. Brown. He threw off his back foot one, the 55-yard bomb, and the one that nobody's really talking about is when he threw it on 3rd and 4 between the linebacker and the DB. Such a small window, and he fitted through there confidently. So I like that as well. With that being said, that's pretty much all I got. Cowboy fans are crying. And I was going hard on the Cowboys fans. Let's see. Let's look what I've been saying. Look, first of all, they throwing stuff at Dak Prescott, right? That's wild. I mean, it's crazy. And look at this. I had to just put this up there because I said yesterday on a tweet, I thought CeeDee Lamb was the best receiver in the East. Knock it off. 1. And I said this. A.J. Brown, 10 receptions, 155. CeeDee Lamb, 2 receptions, 29. Terry McLaurin, 2 receptions, 58 yards. He does have a touchdown. I left it off on purpose to make Washington fans mad. Combined 4 catches for 87 yards. Y'all said we paid $100 million for nothing because our quarterback can't get him the ball. this tweet starting to go off. Washington fans were getting mad. So you know what I did to Washington fans? I said, look, they kept saying Terry McLaurin's better. I said, no. The fact of the matter is this. Let's look at the career now. Because let me make this simple as possible. A.J. Brown is better than Terry McLaurin. Both drafted in 2019. Again, 2 more yards. He averaged 2 more yards a catch. 17 touchdowns to 24. You want this 1 touchdown? 58 and a touchdown's not better than 155 and 0 touchdowns. Stop it. But at the end of the day, you want to compare? There you go. More yards, bigger average, more touchdowns in a career with less catches because he played less games. It's as simple as that. Last but not least, the only team in the NFL to not score a touchdown in week 1 was the Dallas Cowboys. They were the only team. The Jets got beat by a lot, scored a touchdown. Every team that got smoked still scored a touchdown. The Dallas Cowboys are the only team in the NFL that hasn't scored a touchdown. And yes, the Broncos and Seattle Seahawks got to play. And Broncos might beat the Seahawks 31-10, but they'll still score a touchdown. I'm kind of upset Dak Prescott got hurt, but we're not going to act like he was killing it before he got hurt. He was part of the reason why they were losing. The whole offense for the Dallas Cowboys was trash. But listen, I wish Dak a speedy recovery, and we'll see if he can get there before, probably not before the Eagles game, but we'll see. Eagles 1-0, Giants 1-0, Washington 1-0, Cowboys 0-1. We got to see who our biggest competition is with the way things have went down with Dak Prescott and the Cowboys. Leave your thoughts in the comment section. I go by Philly Mike. Hit the like button for your boy, man. It goes a long way. You don't understand. Listen, y'all got 1,000 likes on the live play-by-play. I appreciate everybody who comes through to the live play-by-plays. We had 1,200 likes on the live play-by-play. Let's see if we can get close to a stack on the video. I go by Philly Mike. Once again, we out.